Sunday, I decided to take for myself for a paint therapy day. And while painting for you might mean sitting down and grabbing an easel or a canvas and making some kind of masterpiece, for me, painting is taking paint and other tools and making a mess with it. So I'm still cleaning up. My crafty space is a nightmare from it. But I thought I'd walk you through the pages that I did, and you know, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'm starting with the ones that I didn't quite finish. This is all done on a homemade jelly plate with stencils and homemade stencils. I like the grunge, a lot of them. Let's see if I can get some good light on here. A lot of them came out nice, really grungy. These were like stencil wipe-offs and picking up excess off the plate. So these ones here, I can still stencil something on them, or I can just cut them up. Or what I like to do is I like to use punches. I like to punch things out because you'd be surprised how nice of a design, a flower design that makes right there. So, like I said, some of them are single-sided. This one I had come up, so I can use that thin piece in something. But if not, I have this side here, which is all pink. What was I don't even remember what I was going to say. I tried to do double-sided on all of the magazine pages I did, and a lot of the book pages I did double-sided. So I did 3 different size sheets, small book pages, a medium-sized book page, and magazine pages. So sit down and get comfy because you're in for a long jelly plate print ride. Some of you watched me do some of these on Sunday. I went live a couple times. This paint here is like a thicker bodied, heavier bodied paint. So that's not going to dry, and I'm afraid it's going to pull up on some other ones. This came from a mat from Goodwill, was selling, you know, sometimes they have brand new stuff on the wall near the front of the store. Well, this was like for a mat that you put in the bottom of your sink. So that side, so, you know, I tried to stencil on each one, but some of them I didn't get to get done. I like that. So I have this one here that I used a lid from those scented beads that you buy. Well, the beads don't really last, so I kept the lid to it so you can kind of see the design there. And some Martha Stewart. I have Martha Stewart carving, you know, like their frosting decorating tools that I like. This. Circles, circles, circles. Everybody has to have some circles. And you can see the same, I used the same few stencils. I really liked those stencils, and they were, you know, they were big. They were big enough for my jelly plate, you know, to take up almost the whole page. So I really like that side. And this side, the magazine page I did really worked with me because the border is all the page, the magazine page, and then I love how this came out all over it, you know. So it was a win-win on some of them. That mat again. This was a stencil. All my stencils are from thrift stores, clearance racks, or Ally Express. So this was an Ally Express stencil. I didn't do anything on the back of that page. I didn't do anything on this one either. This was that kitchen sink mat. This was a wipe-off sheet. You know, I'll probably throw something on there. But this is the other side of it, which was a wipe-off sheet and a scrape paint sheet and a, you know, pick up the excess off the jelly plate sheet. Another wipe-off sheet and such. And this was just I picked up the excess from some prints, and I love that side. And again, Love that. Those flowers, that was an AliExpress. This stencil here was AliExpress. And I got these textures here from some of these letterpress plates that I got from Carhartt's auction. Here's that one that you see right there. Can you tell? Can you tell? Almost. So there's that. AliExpress stencils all on top of each other. I love the layering. I love layering and layering over and over until, you know, it just looks, I love both sides of this. I love it. Love that. Love how that came out. I love this stencil. As you can see, I've used it 1,000 million times. Ooh, and I also, as you can see, I also love that stencil. So this one I did on both sides. And I have this one. And this here, which is also this and this, was a placemat that I cut in half. And it's 1/2 of the placemat fits perfectly on my large jelly plate. So it worked out perfect. And then I have another half for when that one is too caked up and destroyed. This is both of those, that stencil and the placemat. And the back I used as a wipe off, but I like it because it looks like it's been watercolored. My husband can't leave the house without calling 50 times. The placemat again, the sink mat again, the sink mat again, and that one I did that was my first run of the placemat, so I did it on a scribble page of my daughter's, but that's fine, I still like it. And this was wipe off and clean off sheet. Whole bunch of things going on this one. Whole bunch of things going on this one. And I like the faintness of that. That was picking up what was left on the jelly plate. More placemat. Gorgeous stenciling. And then I picked up some excess off the jelly plate there. And this one I was screwing around with one of my stencils that goes up the corner. So I actually really like how this looks. And the red color, Walmart had this paint, this Waverly paint, 50% off, just because it was open. Like there was nothing out of it. I mean, look at how full it is. It's up to the neck here. So I took it, 83 cents. I like the Waverly. If there's any more on clearance, I will buy it. A couple more. I did a couple of stencils there. And here. And then that. And then this. And that AliExpress stencil again that I love. And this was an AliExpress stencil also. It had a few things on the stencil, but I tried to pick up like this, and then that one just came with it, so I just took it. Circles. Placemat. Placemat negative. AliExpress stencil. I did some pickup on this side. Look how cool that looks. I think that's from using the brayer, and it went through. That stencil again. And these were some more of the little shapes from the letterpress that I bought from the auction from Carhartt. More of that, more of the same stuff. And this one here. So, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. You got the whole picture. All of my jelly prints. And 90% of what I use cost altogether for everything, including the homemade jelly plate. I don't think I have $10 into all of that, and that includes, oh, sorry, I'm yawning. That includes some of the paint that I used, you know, the 50-cent tubs of paint. That includes all of my paper is scrap paper, so I don't buy special paper or use, you know, good copy paper for this. I use all junk paper. And the jelly plate I made myself. The stencils, a lot of them are homemade and the ones, not homemade, I'm sorry, you know, are things around your house, like placemat and that sink mat are my two favorite ones. And then the stencils that I did use, I paid maybe $1 for. So, I mean, you might be $15 into it by the time it's all said and done. You know, when you're buying stencils for $1 or $1.50 a piece. So keep in mind that when you think you need something fancy to make something look really nice, you don't, and you might not even, maybe this isn't your type of art, and maybe you don't think this looks nice, but there are still cheap options and do-it-yourself options for a lot of art supplies and a lot of products that we use in a mixed media form. So, you know, don't let it get you down if you think you can't afford it, because I love jelly print tools that come from my kitchen, or, you know, jar bottoms, or something to make a circle with, a lid to make a circle with, you know, something to draw a design on, like this little, you know, cake decorating tool that I happen to get on clearance for $1.50 at Joann's, you know, and it makes these nice lines. There are tons of options. There are tons of things you can do. There are tons of ways you can make designs. There are tons of ways that you can make something beautiful with what you have on hand. So I know a lot of people preach this kind of thing, but this is just another example of ways to utilize what you have at home. So I will see you all later. Ta-ta for now.